Hi everyone, Wendy and Les here.
Just back from holidays. We spent 3 weeks in the UK
Yeah,
for our first retirement trip,
yeah,
but we are also extremely happy to be back home here in St. John.
yeah.
Uh,
It was a lot of fun. Our trip was a ton of fun. We had a blast trying to find some deals and stuff on our holidays. We succeeded in a lot of different areas. We had a blast, but it always reminds us coming home how much we absolutely love St. John and retirement. I think you really need to love where you live in retirement.
yeah, so for some of you that have followed us for a while, we moved out to St. John about 7.5 years ago now.
Yeah,
Where does the time go?
I know, right?
And at the time, we were hoping to semi-retire, and that kind of worked for a while. And then we ended up back full time, and now we are fully retired. But moving from the West Coast to the East Coast, when we finished vacations living on the West Coast, we kind of dreaded going home.
Oh my gosh, did we ever?
But now that we've been on the East Coast for this length of time, we actually look forward to coming home.
Yeah, for sure. So, for those of you who are new to our channel, we moved from the Lower Mainland, which is just outside of Vancouver, and we were in search of a better life. So, we were tired of the traffic, the crime, the expense. It was very expensive to live there. We were looking for somewhere with clean air. My allergies were really, really bad in BC from the smog and the fire smoke, or the forest fire smoke, and we were just really burnt out. So we were looking for a better quality life. So that's why we decided to sell everything in the Vancouver area and move out to the east. Now, we didn't necessarily choose St. John right away, but when we packed up our car and our dog and everything else, and we came out here and saw the beaches and stuff, it just felt like home. We found everything that we were looking for. So we found like the fresh air, a better quality of life, a slower pace, less traffic for sure, less crime. But what we found here was a lot more than what we were looking for. So we found community. St. John has some of the most friendliest people that we've ever come across. We found some really, really dear friends out here. We have a group of friends that we absolutely love. And we just found a beautiful spot. I feel like this is like Canada's best kept secret, St. John. A lot of people think industry when they think St. John, but we think beauty. We've got the Bay of Fundy,
Cruise ships,
cruise ships,
the ocean, which is right behind us.
beautiful sunny weather.
You see the cranes on that side. That is a working, operating port. They're one of the biggest ports in Canada, which ensures that we have a functioning economy, not just based on tourism, but that ship there. And there's one behind it, and there was another one earlier on today, ensure that we have a wonderful tourism-based economy as well. And those people that are on those ships, they're paying to be in St. John today. We were out for our walk along the Harbor Passage this morning, and a lot of them were walking the same way we were.
It was packed.
They were on vacation. We just feel like we're on vacation when we live in here.
Yeah. So it was really nice to come home from UK. It's always a treat to come home to St. John. It's a place that we love. We moved to Uptown St. John not too long ago, and it was one of the reasons we decided to retire. And we were ready.
So for some of you, you may not know this, but being on YouTube does not make you rich. When Wendy says we've met community, we've met friends, some of that has come from being on YouTube, and it is putting ourselves out there. And whenever you move to a new place, I think that you can never expect people to reach out to you. You're going to have to put yourself out there, and we did that here. And we're both a little bit introverted by nature, but we decided that this city was worth the investment of time and potential embarrassment of putting ourselves out there. But it was never that way. We've been welcomed with open arms.
Yeah.
And as Wendy said, 7.5 years here, we have more close friends here than I think we ever had back in BC, probably.
Yeah.
And that's not that there isn't good people in BC, there is, but we've found in our time here that maybe people are just slightly more welcoming, a little more open. You can't walk the harbor passes like we did today without having to say hello to people who pass you. One thing we noticed while we were in the UK, we were in seaside towns there as well, as because we love the ocean. And we went for long walks there as we do here. But
Nobody made eye contact. Nobody said hello. It was strange because we walk the harbor passage here every single day, and 99% of the people always make eye contact and say hello, and a lot of them stop and want to talk.
Yeah.
So
it's just a different environment. So
it is.
We're putting this suggestion that we think St. John is one of the best small cities in Canada.
Yeah.
3 cruise ships in one day. We'll testify to that a little bit. But our experience has just been one of ongoing enjoyment where, even before we retired, we often feel like we are on vacation when we're here.
Yeah.
We can go to the beach anytime we want. We can walk there. We can walk along the ocean, the harbor, the waterfront. We can do almost anything we want to do here. And retiring now on a budget, which is kind of the theme of this channel. One of the things that we've thought about when we decide to retire is that we may not need to travel as much as we once did, because the whole summer here was absolutely spectacular.
It was.
Today is the 29th of September. Look at that sunshine. It's almost 5 o'clock in the evening.
It's 24 out.
24 degrees.
Yeah.
So when you hear horror stories about the horrible weather in the Atlantic, so much of it is not true. When we researched to come out here to move, if we believed what we had read about the place, we never would have come out here at all. So, one of the reasons we've done these 200 plus videos about life in St. John and showing people around the city is just to contradict some of that negativity that you may read about in forums or in the news, because our experience has been completely different.
It has, yeah. It's been absolutely amazing, absolutely fantastic.
That's an inside joke, sorry. But yeah, we love being here. And when Wendy said we moved into Uptown, which is, for most of you that don't know, that's actually downtown, but they call it something different here. We were living in a small house on in the city, but a little bit out of the way, and it was a wonderful place. But we sold it because we had a vision for how we wanted our retirement to look, and that was to be able to have some fun. And
Yes.
We're about a 10-minute walk right now from our home, and in that 10-minute walk, there's probably well over a dozen places we could eat or have a drink out on a patio, looking over the water.
Cafes.
It's just been absolutely wonderful. And if you're thinking about retiring, I'm not saying you should move to St. John, but I think you should maybe just think about the entire package. It's not all about money. It's not all about the size of your home. There's so much to think about what you want your life to be like when you retire.
Yeah.
I was Wendy's designated driver for 22 years, and I decided it was time for me to have some fun too. And so living uptown, we walk everywhere we want to go.
Yeah.
And we've been having the time of our lives. 3 months now into retirement, and you hear all those horror stories about, nobody told me this about retirement. Well, we haven't experienced any of that. We've been having just a blast.
Yeah, and I think the realization of loving where you live, it's a big part of retirement. If you enjoy where you live and you go for walks and enjoy the businesses that you want to support in your local environment or community or whatever, St. John has been it for us. So we love where we live, which makes retirement that much easier. So
absolutely.
And enjoyable, of course.
Yeah, and our purpose in retirement is not that much different than it was in our working lives. We used to work to get by, pay our bills, and try to live our life the best we can, try to have a strong marriage between the two of us, try to be the best versions of ourselves we can be. And none of that's really any different in retirement. We just don't have to go to work. And so we can spend a little more time on having fun.
Yeah.
And what could make life more fun than living in a wonderful city. And for us, that's a city right on the ocean with great air, great people, uh, very little traffic, and much lower crime than most parts of the country get. So just think about what you want out of your retirement and include that in your planning, is what I would say, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess that's all we have to say for today. So we love retirement in St. John. Woo woo!